Hello, everybody. Today I wanted to address um, trans people in the UK, specifically trans kids. You know what? Everywhere in the entire world, because I noticed that things are getting quite rough for everybody talking about gender and stuff. I remember what it was like being 14 and trying to work out my sexuality and gender and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a very painful time of my life. Um, Not just because of any social persecution I feared that I would face, because I did have some pretty loving friends around me, but it was just uncharted waters, really. When you're a young person, specifically a child, so especially when you're a child, you just feel like you're thrown into this institution of like school and bullies and like people you want to make friends with, but you don't know how to. Um, and on top of that, you got to figure yourself out, or it feels as if you have to figure yourself out because you're gaining consciousness like every single day, Um, from that time you were 5 and you suddenly woke up and was like, wow, I can think things, to however old you may be now. Maybe you're younger than 14, much younger than 14. But just in my situation, that's when everything started collapsing in on me, it seems. It was a rough time. And I can say now at 20 years old, I'm still sort of figuring things out. Actually, I don't really care that much anymore because I'm sort of happy with the way that I'm portrayed in the world, like the way that people see me and the way that I know who I am, you know? It's never really about external validation. That is such a big factor, isn't it? But I remember looking for who I knew I was. And I think I've got a good grasp on that now. I'm sorry, 6 years later, I know that's such a long time, but I think I've got sort of a good grasp on that now. All I knew is that stuff could change, and everything did change from time to time over the years, and even with my name and stuff. Again, thankfully, I had friends who were going through the same things as well. Their names changed, their pronouns changed, and the way that they portray themselves to the world changed as well. And I think that's so beautiful. I got to meet so many different sides of them, even if it's just temporary. And I love them all so much. And speaking of love, even if this hadn't happened in my life, this blessing, I would still be making this video. Well, hopefully, Hopefully I would have the heart to make this video. But I just wanted to say that the first person that I was ever in love with, in a relationship with, was trans. And that was a good time. Even if I handled the breakup and everything immaturely, we were 15, don't worry about it. But I just think that regardless of romantic interest, of familiarity and stuff, and religion, I think that trans people are so amazing and so beautiful. It's so courageous to be even thinking about that, not putting that stuff away and asking yourself, what traits of myself do I like? And how do I like looking at myself? Because at the end of the day, it is how comfortable you feel being you, in your body, in your mindset, what sort of stuff you want to highlight about yourself. And I hope that one day, every time you think about something about yourself, you just feel quite secure in it. Not like, oh, it's going to be like this forever, or it's never going to change this part of me, but you can look at it proudly and say, that's me. I'm scared of spiders. I'm a guy and I don't like football. There's a lot of misconceptions that if you transition into a new gender, you have to be a certain way. For a lot of my trans friends, they're quite fluid. They're not like they treat themselves very nicely and they don't pressure themselves to be. Not that I'm equating all that to all that. I'm just saying that if they ever felt any pressure to be anything else, they sure as hell don't show it. And it's okay if things get to you. Things get to me, just like overhearing stuff. I get so upset. I can't imagine what it could be like for you guys. Hearing news headlines and, word of our fallen brothers and sisters. That must be very difficult to face. But I hope you know that there is one person rooting for you. I don't know. If you find this not a comfort at all, I totally get it. I mean, this isn't gonna save the world and everything, and yeah. But I just want to put this out for my conscience sake. And if it applies to adulthood as well, again, I'm 20, but I'm only 20, I'm still figuring stuff out myself. If this applies to anybody, then please take it as it is. A lot of people, when they were watching the Barbie movie in 2023, they found that, it resonated with them because that movie is ultimately about life. Being trans is not your whole life, It can be if you want it to be. A lot of people dedicate their lives to helping other trans people and, I don't know, showing love to that side of them, to who they are. That's so beautiful. But, all of that doesn't have to be all of you. It just depends on the day, doesn't it? Sometimes I think about my gender like all hours of the day that I'm awake. Other times I sort of forget. I feel like I was going somewhere with this. I just think that you deserve such a beautiful and wonderful life. And you deserve to know that you're safe. Not only be safe in the street physically and walk home from school unharmed, but you deserve to feel that security in your heart and soul. Find people like you and find people who like you, because it's not fair, and we should be able to say that it's not fair. I'm very sorry on behalf of everybody who doesn't who just takes the time out of their day to spread hate based on something they don't know. If you truly don't like something, just don't think about it. I don't know. Why does it bother you? So many misconceptions. If anybody's watching this confused about how I could possibly support all this going on, then they don't know what I believe, because I believe in everybody's safety and rights. And I think that our healthcare system should be better, that everybody should be able to express themselves, have the right to express themselves in their gender, and whatever clothing they want, however they decide to walk down the street, and whatever they decide to do with their body safely. Also, my love, if you want to know what a trans person plans to do with their body and why they're doing it, why they're trans in the first place and how they came to that conclusion, talk to them. I mean, not that you came onto here to learn hard truths and without evidence and everything, but don't go to a cis person to ask about trans people. Go to a trans person. Simple as. It's so rough living in societies where there's such a strong binary, and it's either this or this. You know, people don't even know that non-binary exists. Some people still think it's either male or female. But as a non-binary person myself, again, it doesn't look like it. Maybe it does. Maybe you look at me and you're like, oh, something's up with that person. I really want one day for somebody to look at me and be like, oh yeah. I think her name is, oh, their name? I don't know. It's a weird dream to have. I think people need to mind their own business a lot more. And I gotta finish my sentences a lot more too, because I keep starting them and I don't know where I'm gonna go with them and keep going on tangents. I think this video is going on too long and I'm gonna start repeating myself. If you're transphobic, then please listen to more trans people. Not trans people that have been platformed by people that you already agree with, as in if J.K. Rowling ever had somebody on her platform that talked about how awful it was to, think that they were trans and stuff like that. It's just a hypothetical in my mind, but I can kind of see it happening. If 1 + 1 = 2 and you're looking at J.K. Rowling's Twitter and then she's been like, see, I was right all along about trans people. You gotta be open-minded. You have to listen to news from the source. And this applies to national news as well. I'm telling you, a lot of sources are biased. But people will always tell you their story from their heart. Okay? Nobody's out to like get you and misinform you and stuff. Like, nobody's out to get your children. Especially not other kids, not other trans kids who are just trying to tell their story. Any kid in any country, in any situation, is just trying to reach out and receive help. And that is so hard. It's 10 times harder to reach out for support and love and care that kids deserve when you're that age, because nobody listens to you. However, honestly, I didn't even realize I left on such a negative note. However, I want you to know that there's power in community and there's power in not giving up on yourself. So even if you can't make friends with anybody in your class or in your school or even on like safe online children's games and forums, please don't give up. There are reasons why, you like your interests. Say you like some sports and stuff. Maybe you find it hard to connect to people on there as well. I think that finding things that you really love during your childhood, even YouTubers and video games and books and everything and hobbies, it all makes a safe and lovely foundation for you to find comfort in yourself. In life, we can't get by our whole lives just by ourselves. Some of us have to. But I hope all of us can appreciate who we are all by ourselves when everything else is gone in our lives. I hope that just being with yourself and knowing who you are a little bit can bring you just a bit of comfort. That's what you deserve. When you play a game that you really like and, people are worried about how much time you're spending on your screen, obviously that is a ginormous concern. But if it's something that brings you so much passion and love and joy in your life, then please make some space for it, Don't take it personally if people can't see how amazing you are. At least you see how amazing you are as well. And nobody owes anybody even friendships, It's all supposed to be natural and stuff. Not transactional, not oh, hey, I gave you a bunch of gifts. Do you want to be my friend? No. When you do make friends and find your second family and, find the people who really align with you and make you as happy as you can make yourself, that'll be a very joyous day. And I'm looking forward for that day for you. It's what you deserve. Yeah. Life is so tough, especially doing it by ourselves. But that's why people make art like these games and TV shows and movies and stuff. It's for comfort and pleasure and stuff. So please don't ever belittle your own interests. Sorry, it's so late at night. I'm getting tired. Please don't ever take it personally if somebody doesn't want to be your friend. And please love yourself first. Put yourself first. And try and be your own best friend. You should love yourself the most. You're going to spend the rest of your time by yourself. I'm not just talking about when you go to the toilet. You're the only person in there, hopefully. I'm just talking about, on those nights where you feel lonely. Even if there's people in the house. You're in your room by yourself, for example. And you just start thinking about life, and life is crazy, so you start thinking about all sorts of things. If by the end of that thinking train track, you can still say, I like who I am, I love discovering things about myself, and I'm doing a pretty good job in life. And if I ever mess up, I'll keep trying, and I'll do a better job tomorrow, especially in being my own best friend. You can say that. That's amazing. Okay? So, just love yourself, okay? Please do rely on other people when you do find those friends. But for now, give yourself as much love as you deserve, which is all the love you have, okay? So, I hope I didn't speak up for anybody that didn't appreciate what I said and stuff. I hope I'm not bulldozing over somebody's points and just making up my own stuff and talking on behalf of all trans people. I'm really not trying to do that. This is just my point of view and what I want to say to transphobic people and what I want to say to trans people. I think you are so gorgeous, so beautiful in every sense of the word. You deserve an amazing, long life full of excitement and positivity, trans joy. You deserve to look how you want to look without persecution. Dress how you want to dress. Yeah, be treated with love and respect. I think you're amazing, okay? I think you deserve the world. What do I say at the end of videos? Love yourself and happy birthday if it's your birthday. Everybody say happy birthday, Ari, in the comments.